In the shimmering heart of Southeast Asia lies a city-state that defied the odds. Towering skyscrapers, clean streets, world-class infrastructure. Singapore is a marvel of modern civilization. But it wasn't always this way. Once, it was a poor, vulnerable port with no natural resources and little hope for survival. At the center of its transformation stood a singular man, Lee Kuan Yew, a man of steel will, unmatched intellect, and relentless vision. He was not merely a politician, he was the founding father, the architect of a nation that rose from adversity to prosperity in just a single generation.
SIA pilots, I didn't meet them. SIA.
Lee Kuan Yew, the founding father of modern Singapore. Lee Kuan Yew was born on September 16, 1923, into a middle-class Chinese family during British colonial rule. From a young age, Lee stood out, not just for his intelligence, but for his discipline and curiosity. He spoke fluent English, Chinese, and Malay, and performed exceptionally in school. But his world was shaken during World War II, when Japanese forces invaded and occupied Singapore. Those years of hardship under foreign rule left a lasting impression. It was then that Lee saw the vulnerability of colonized nations and the urgent need for self-governance. After the war, Lee left for England to study law at Cambridge University, where he graduated with first-class honors. He returned to Singapore as a barrister, but it was not the courtroom that called to him. It was the political arena. In 1954, Lee co-founded the People's Action Party, PAP, a left-leaning anti-colonial movement that quickly grew in strength. Charismatic and articulate, Lee captivated crowds with speeches that blended bold vision and hard truth. He had little patience for idealism without action. For Lee, politics was not about power. It was about survival. In 1959, Singapore achieved self-governance, and Lee became its first prime minister at just 35 years old. But he knew independence was the real prize. In 1963, Singapore joined the Federation of Malaysia, believing unity would bring economic strength and racial harmony. But tensions flared, ideological, ethnic, and political. After just 2 years, Singapore was expelled from Malaysia, an event that plunged the fledgling state into crisis. On August 9, 1965, Singapore became an independent republic, not by choice, but by necessity. In a televised address, Lee choked back tears. "For me, it is a moment of anguish because all my life, you see, the whole of my adult life, I have believed in merger and the unity of these two territories." The odds were stacked against them. A tiny island with no natural resources, no army, and deep ethnic divisions. But Lee did not falter. He rolled up his sleeves and got to work. His government launched a national blueprint founded on meritocracy, multiracialism, and integrity. Corruption was crushed. The civil service was transformed into one of the world's most efficient. Education became the foundation of growth, and English was made the common language to unify a multilingual society and plug into the global economy. Singapore opened itself to the world. Lee courted foreign investors, built trade relationships, and turned the city into a hub for finance, shipping, and technology. Public housing programs gave citizens dignity. National service was introduced to defend the island. And all the while, Lee governed with a style both admired and criticized. He was authoritarian yet effective, often intolerant of dissent, and unafraid to use legal and political tools to silence critics. But he believed democracy had to be adapted to fit the needs of a small, fragile, multi-ethnic state. Stability, to him, was non-negotiable. Lee's legacy, however, is not just one of order, it is one of extraordinary progress. Under his leadership, Singapore's GDP per capita skyrocketed, life expectancy increased, crime plummeted, and the nation was transformed into a first-world economy within a matter of decades. In 1990, after 31 years as Prime Minister, Lee voluntarily stepped down, handing over the reins to Goh Chok Tong. He remained in cabinet as senior minister and later minister mentor, continuing to shape policy behind the scenes. His son, Lee Hsien Loong, became prime minister in 2004, continuing the work of a government shaped by his father's ideals. Beyond politics, Lee was known for his unwavering devotion to his wife, Kwa Geok Chu, his intellectual equal and lifelong confidant. Her passing in 2010 devastated him, yet he continued to serve with quiet resilience in his final years. Lee remained sharp and thoughtful well into his old age. He gave interviews and wrote books, including From Third World to First, chronicling the extraordinary rise of Singapore. He did not expect to be universally admired, but he expected to be understood for the choices he made and the nation he helped build. On March 23, 2015, Lee Kuan Yew passed away at the age of 91. The nation entered mourning. Over 1 million Singaporeans lined the streets to pay tribute. Flags flew at half-mast. Across the world, leaders and citizens alike honored the life of a statesman who proved that with clarity of purpose and the courage to act, even the smallest nations can achieve greatness. Lee Kuan Yew did not just lead Singapore, he forged it, brick by brick, law by law, idea by idea, and in doing so, he changed the course of history. This is the story of Lee Kuan Yew, the founding father, the nation builder, the man who dared to dream and made it real. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution.